Hello everyone and welcome to the second episode of In Dispute. So this show we kind of look at the Oscars, going back looking at each year about what we think should have won now that we've had a little bit of time to think about. We've had time to digest what should have won, what shouldn't have won, what deserved to win, what didn't deserve to, and then we kind of dispute it.
That's why it's called that.
That's the title. And as you can hear, Tommy is here.
Hello.
Once again, and we're joined by Steve.
Hello. I wasn't here last time, but I'm here now.
You're here now to dispute.
Do you understand how it works?
Not yet. No.
So we're going to go through each of the different. We're going to go through the main four categories.
Okay.
Which is Best
Which
Picture,
are, yeah.
Best Director, Best Actor, Best Actress. We're going to go through it, say what won and who was nominated, and then we'll decide if we think, in our opinion, if the Academy's got it right.
Okay.
They scored pretty well last time. If I remember
scored.
right,
I think we disputed two.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, Best Actor, Hugh Jackman. Best Actress, Kate Beckinsale. You know, Best Film, Van Helsing. Yeah, that kind of thing.
That kind of thing, but not
What's
that.
the director's name?
Okay. I don't know.
I didn't think you did. That's why you didn't say it.
So this week we'll be looking at the 89th Academy Awards, which took place in 2017 and were for films.
For 2016 films.
2016.
It's super complicated. Just do it in December.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Christmas time.
So which category do you want to start with, Steve?
Let's start
as you're
with
here.
Best Director.
Oh, don't forget. So as well as the main four, we then also choose one category that we feel also got it wrong. So rather than go for every single category, we just pick one extra one that we highlight. So we could have one different one each. We could have all the same. We'll see.
Okay. Yes. Anyway, so let's start with Best Director. So obviously, infamously known as La La Land / The Moonlight debacle.
That
was
Best
Picture.
Picture.
Oh,
you said Director.
Oh, Director. Whoopsie.
Which one do you want to do?
Best Picture.
Okay, go for it. Go for it then. Do you want to read through the?
Oh yeah, sure.
Don't forget. So it doesn't have to, Steve. So if you don't feel like, if you feel like the film that should have won Best Picture wasn't nominated, you can still mention it.
Yeah.
Okay. No, that's fine. I'll do it. Okay. So
do you want to read who won and then the nominees?
Okay. So Best Picture, the winner was Moonlight, and then we also had nominees were Arrival, Fences, Hacksaw Ridge, Hell or High Water, and Hidden Figures, La La Land, Lion, and Manchester by the Sea.
This is a really stacked year.
Yeah, it's really good.
This is a really, really good year.
There's only a couple of films in there I outright wouldn't give it to.
Which would be?
Hacksaw Ridge. I never saw Fences. Didn't really like Arrival. Whereas all of the others I could see easily winning it. I mean, obviously La La Land did kind of win it for 13 seconds. Which is such an unfortunate thing. I felt so bad for Warren Beatty and Faye Dunaway. It's just one of those things. It kind of stole the limelight from Moonlight. Didn't mean to do that.
That's good. I like that.
Which is such a shame because that's kind of the thing that's talked about at that event now, where it should be the celebration of this film. I think, just to give my answer straight away, I don't think in my right mind I could take it away from Moonlight. I think there's so many really good films that year.
Because they already had it taken away from them. And then
I just think, while personally La La Land was my favourite film of that year, which would have been my choice, I'm not going to dispute the fact that Moonlight won it still, because I really loved that film. I thought it was amazing, and I think it's a more important film. So I'm going to say that they got it right on that one.
So no dispute?
None.
Steve?
No dispute for me either.
No dispute? Do you want to talk about any of the other films? Which was your favourite? Was it La La Land as well?
Yeah, for me it was La La Land.
Special mention to Manchester by the Sea, which would probably be my third film on that.
I'm gonna not dispute either. So the Academy got it right this time.
Good job.
Well done. But I like you said, it's a really stacked year. I didn't like Fences as much as quite a few people did, but it's because it's adapted from the stage play and it felt very closed into the set, which obviously makes sense given that was adapted from that. But it just didn't work in a film way for me. Like the same problem I have with a film that wasn't nominated for an Oscar, Mamma Mia. Again, it's adapted from that stage thing, and it feels too closed, which is why it doesn't work.
Well, interestingly, Moonlight was also adapted from a stage thing, and it didn't feel like that. It felt big. It had a bit of a scope to it. I mean, it was a smaller film. Don't get me wrong; it had a small budget.
Yeah,
I think around like the 4 to 7 million mark. I think that's from memory. And it did very, very well. Certainly less than 10.
Yeah,
and it did very, very well. And as you say, it sort of didn't feel like a few small sets, and it didn't have those limitations. So I think that even speaks more from it.
And it has this unique 3 act structure where they literally jump to a different story of the person's life.
It's almost like 3 short films.
Yeah,
but
and
they link so well.
Yeah, but I don't know. I remember the first time that I watched the film, it was really jarring for me, and I didn't like it, as I felt like I just finally got invested with this new older version of the character that we got to know, and then things would change, and it'd be it doesn't feel like the same sort of character.
I liked all 3 for very different reasons as well, which I liked.
Yeah, 3 short films is a really good way of putting it. Well done, Tommy.
Thank you.
I also like Hacksaw Ridge more than most people. I would definitely put it as a nominated film. I thought it was really powerful, and I think Mel Gibson, we'll talk about it in a minute.
I think it was a little too top heavy for me.
I do get what you mean.
It feels like 2 very different films. Act 1 and 2 feel like one film. Act 3 feels like a little over the top, gratuitous.
It's this weird kind of use of comedy as well. It just doesn't sit right.
Yeah, Act 1 and 2 I like better than Act 3. Yeah, I feel like it was a little heavy-handed with its message as well and stuff like that. I wasn't crazy about it at all.
No, fair enough. So then I know another film that you love, Tommy, Hell or High Water. One that was nominated.
Fantastic film. It's my favourite of the. Was it the Frontier trilogy? Is that what it's called?
Sure.
I think it's called the Frontier trilogy.
Let's call it that.
Sicario, Hell or High Water, and
Wind River.
Wind River. I almost call it Long River. I don't know what that is. Yeah, it's my favourite of the 3, although I like them all for very different reasons.
Yeah.
But yeah, it came out of nowhere as well.
Yeah.
It just felt like a nice modern Western film.
Yeah.
4 fantastic performances, really. Yeah, see that every day of the week. That could have easily won for me.
Yeah. And then we had Hidden Figures as well.
I short little tidbit about this, really. I watched this with my younger sister, and she's very good at maths. She's really, really good at maths, actually. And obviously seeing these empowered female characters in a film literally about maths. Yeah. And as soon as the credits roll, she just turned to me with the biggest smile on her face and she said, "I can't believe they made maths so cool and so fun." And it's just, it seems sort of goofy and cheesy, but you know, I love it when a film can be that inspiring, and that's what these films are for. And it's obviously a very important story about very important people. And I think it was executed, incredibly well.
Yeah. And then obviously La La Land was a 2-horse race, really, wasn't it, between Moonlight and La La Land?
La La Land obviously being one of the most nominated films of all time.
And it obviously both of the, I think La La Land was
tied with what was it, Ben-Hur and Titanic?
Yeah, I think so.
Definitely Ben-Hur. Yeah.
14 nominations, I want to say.
Yeah. You've put me off now.
Sorry.
I think La La Land was sweeping up most of the awards through the award season. So even when the unfortunate thing of the mistake of saying the wrong name happened, if La La Land would have won it, no one would have been surprised.
No, not at all.
And I think across the board, I think it's all our favourite film out of the ones that have been nominated.
Is it yours?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, certainly mine. Yeah.
But it doesn't, not taking anything away from Moonlight. It's just a different sort of story.
It is. There's so much in it that felt very much for me. Like I'm a big fan of musicals. I loved Whiplash. Another Damien Chazelle film. The cast I thought was great.
Yeah.
The songs are. I still. You listen to them
songs
all the
are on my tracks
time.
every week.
And it's such a throwback to old school Hollywood.
Oh, 100%.
I love it.
As soon as they start the film with the shot in CinemaScope, and then it goes what it just felt like all the films you grew up watching from the 50s and 60s, all those classic musicals. Yeah, I loved it.
And then the other 2 that were nominated were Lion and Manchester by the Sea.
Manchester by the Sea just taught me things about film. Like they did things for that film I didn't know they could do. 2 amazing performances. One we'll talk about shortly from Casey Affleck, but Michelle Williams as well. I don't think she gets enough credit because she's not in the film much, but she's so powerful and it feels so raw and real. And she's honestly one of the greatest working actors at the moment. It's a shame she was in Venom.
I haven't seen it. I've only really heard the stuff about
Manchester by the Sea.
Yeah, I've only really heard the stuff about Casey Affleck not being a great guy. That's all I heard about it being overshadowed.
Did overshadow it a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, watch the film. Separate the art from the artist a little bit, because that performance is an acting masterclass. Yeah, it really is.
Yeah. So across the board, no disputes. The Academy got it right.
Also, Lion, really liked. Saw it really late, but I really liked that movie. I thought it was a nice, fun, feel-good film. Do you know what? It sits where I feel like Slumdog Millionaire sits. I don't feel like it's quite Best Picture winner worthy. I mean, we'll get to that when we get to the episode, but definitely a nominee.
Yeah.
I would say.
Yeah, fair enough.
Worthy of recognition.
Yeah. So what would you like to move on to next, Tommy? Director,
let's get to best actor, since I sort of spoke about Casey Affleck, who actually won the award, despite being nominated against Andrew Garfield for Hacksaw Ridge, Ryan Gosling for La La Land, Viggo Mortensen for Captain Fantastic, and Denzel Washington for Fences. There's a few films in this category I didn't actually see. I didn't see Fences, and I didn't see Captain Fantastic of this year.
Yeah.
Do you know what? Despite what my grievances with Hacksaw Ridge, that's more kind of with the directing and writing, to be honest. But I thought Andrew Garfield did a fantastic job here. Obviously, the big talking point's always like when an actor has a thick accent. He's obviously a British guy, and if you hear him speak, he's very much Southern London, proper, well spoken. So doing the kind of Deep South kind of Bible Belt America, he did a really good job with that. It was obviously a very emotional film, very much about on the shoulders of his performance, and I think he did a really good job.
Yeah.
Ryan Gosling obviously learnt the piano for the film. He sung for the film, danced. It's kind of that whole classic what all the actors used to do back in the day. The Fred Astaire kind of thing, Gene Kelly kind of thing. So I had Casey Affleck not given arguably one of my favourite performances of the last decade, Ryan Gosling probably would have been my next choice. Well, having said that, Viggo Mortensen's always great, so I'm sure he really delivers something in Captain Fantastic, and Denzel also. What a guy!
What a man!
What a man! Like, I haven't seen obviously Manchester by the Sea, so or Captain Fantastic. So for me, it would have been Ryan Gosling, because I was absolutely spellbound by him. As you kind of touched upon, like the guy learned, to play the piano, the dance, bit of singing as well. He's like an all-around hat-trick kind of guy, and it's just absolutely amazing in that film. I just love it so much, and
So you're gonna dispute?
I'm disputing it right now.
Whoa.
They're wrong.
Whoa,
my foot's gone down. Okay, Academy.
It was already down. He's put it down.
I put it down.
Confirm it.
The Tims are down.
I don't know. I think I'm going to dispute as well. Believe it or not.
Yes.
I'm going to go, like you said, Andrew Garfield for me, crushed it in Hacksaw Ridge. I think it was my favourite performance of the year, just across the board. I think I thought it was so powerful, and I don't cry at films, but I nearly did.
Oh wow!
So I think a lot of credit has to go to. I think the supporting cast was really good as well. I think of Vince Vaughn. I think of people's names that I can't remember.
Hugo Weaving.
Yeah. And it was just really powerful, and I think that potentially goes a little bit more when we talk about the direction of the film as well. I'm not taking anything away from Casey Affleck. I thought, again, that's his film in Manchester by the Sea. I thought it did really well. And the same with Ryan Gosling, but I think the difference why I wouldn't give it to Gosling is I think Emma Stone is better, and I think she deserves it more, and I think it's more Emma Stone's film. And again, not taking anything away from Gosling.
Disagree.
Yeah, especially I feel like Casey Affleck was just leagues above like most performances I've seen in recent years. I thought it was a masterclass. But anyway, what did you want to bring up next?
I think we'll go to director next. Let's go to director. So Damien Chazelle won for La La Land, and one of my favourite directors, Denis Villeneuve, was nominated for Arrival, Mel Gibson for Hacksaw Ridge, Kenneth Lonergan for Manchester by the Sea, and Barry Jenkins for Moonlight. So as you can see, it was kind of these were the sort of film when you look at La La Land, Hacksaw Ridge, Manchester by the Sea, and Moonlight, they were all getting nominated across the board. So it wasn't a huge surprise that they got nominated. I think I would have to give it to Damien Chazelle. I think because of that old school feel and the way that film gets put, I think Tommy preferred Whiplash. And
I did.
But would you agree that? Would you say his direction's better in this or Whiplash?
It's better in Whiplash.
Yeah.
But I still think the kind of logistics of assembling something quite this scale, there's large like set pieces, and not like action set pieces.
Yeah.
They're fully choreographed dance set pieces. And it's got a really unique style to it, and it pays homage to the classics, but in a contemporary way. I think all of that sort of combined, I think it feels right to me. I always feel weird about it when the best director and best picture are different. Yeah, it seems strange. It always seems like you get the 1-2. However, I probably do give this to Chazelle, really. Then Barry Jenkins, then Kenneth Lonergan, just because I can't give enough credit to Manchester by the Sea. I love that film.
Steve?
Yeah, I'm under the same boat as Damien Chazelle with La La Land. Just the way it's presented, it's a real nostalgia fest, especially if you're a fan of the old school kind of musicals and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I actually will give a shout out though to Mel Gibson, because the battle scene in Hacksaw Ridge was really, really good and like really graphic as well.
Yeah, I've never been more put off wanting to join the army.
Yeah, this is the thing. You see it in a lot of, like, especially kind of modern and contemporary battle scenes. They're like a CGI slugfest. But with this, it's seen like a proper like portrayal of just
felt like Saving Private Ryan, didn't it?
Yeah, it's just like
it
showing
felt
how scary.
realistic, and it really did portray the sort of horror of being in that sort of environment. Which obviously in Hollywood you get this glamorized sort of version of it sometimes, and
like American Sniper.
which we'll get to soon.
It's coming soon.
But obviously Mel Gibson was a big talking point on whether he should have been nominated. But I think with some extent you have to separate the art from the artist, as you kind of said already. But
it's a lot to separate.
It is. But maybe that's why he didn't win. But no, it's not because of that. I do think Chazelle was probably I'm not disputing it.
No dispute all around?
No dispute all around. So I've only had one dispute so far with me and Steve. And Tommy, you've agreed with the Academy all the
So
time.
far, so good.
So let's look at Best Actress. Emma Stone won for La La Land. And then you had Isabel Huppert, if that's how you pronounce her name.
Huppert?
Sure. As
Huppert?
in Elle. I don't remember that film at all. Ruth Negga from Loving. Natalie Portman in Jackie, and of course the Queen, Meryl Streep, in Florence Foster Jenkins.
I'm just going to throw out a theory here. No one in the Academy saw Florence Foster Jenkins. They just saw that Meryl Streep was in it and nominated her.
Which is fair enough.
Couldn't agree more.
I have no doubt that she was amazing.
However, I think they got it right.
Yeah.
I think they got it bang on the nose here. Emma Stone was amazing in La La Land. I think if her only appearance in that film was the audition scene, then she still would have won.
Yeah.
So many tears during that scene. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, really well done.
None for me, believe it or not. I didn't cry.
On the inside?
No.
No, not at all.
No, I didn't cry.
You're emotionless. You really are.
I am.
Natalie Portman and Jackie was very, very good.
I haven't seen it, but like even from like the bits of clips and trailers that I've seen, I've heard and just what I've heard.
That is the only other film in that category I have seen, full disclosure. But I love Emily. I love Emily. I love Emma Stone's performance all the same. Steve?
Yeah, just the film share between her and Gosling, the charisma that they two share on that film is absolutely amazing. And I think I disagree with it being her film. I think it's like an equal split between her and Gosling. But
what I meant by that was more, I think that she gives just a better performance than Gosling does.
No, I don't think so. I really prefer like Gosling's kind of rugged
Doesn't learn
portrayal.
piano.
He didn't learn piano. No, but equally great as dancing. But yeah, like I said, the Academy has hit the nail on the head on this one. Definitely for her. No dispute.
No, I completely agree. I don't really have anything else to add apart from Meryl Streep.
Meryl Streep on the front row.
So I guess that's the main four. So now we run on
That's the main
to
four.
anything that we may have disagreed with in any of the other categories. So I kind of want to jump on. I think it's probably the most controversial and most remembered from this year, being the best makeup and hairstyling. There's also only 3 nominees. One of them was called A Man Called Ove, another for Star Trek Beyond, and then the winner was a Suicide Squad, which I think surprised a lot of people, mainly because the main thing I heard about the makeup from that film was Killer Croc not looking good.
Yeah.
And then otherwise, the main piece of makeup was Harley Quinn, which, sure.
And Joker.
Iconic, and people dress as it for Halloween. But if you look at the makeup in Star Trek Beyond, they created like alien races that look unbelievable, incredible. I think it's a clear winner in my eyes. I don't quite even know the politics of this, other than Warner Brothers must have just put a lot into the campaign for that, and Paramount didn't.
Yeah, potentially.
So that's my dispute there.
So that's your first dispute of this episode.
Damn right.
Steve, was this the one that you had the biggest problem with?
Yeah, like seeing Joker with the damaged forehead and like the golden grills in his teeth, it didn't look right at all. And Killer Croc should have been a CGI character. It looked like a really poor '90s rendition of Killer Croc. And a really cheap
I
budget.
think it's just that design of the character is.
It's just
Yeah, I mean, yeah, when he takes his top off, it just looks such a weird moment.
Silly.
And like Killer Croc in the comics is huge.
It's a giant crocodile man.
Yeah,
yeah.
he's like 10 feet tall. Like that's probably not right, but like he's that.
He's a
sort
good
of,
7 foot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whereas in this, it's 6 foot maybe, just normal size, normal size,
just a
just
dude.
a normal guy
Just a
with
dude with bad skin.
sharp teeth. Yeah.
He needs to exfoliate.
Yeah.
And Star Trek, I don't know, it's one of those sci-fi films that you kind of guarantee have got great looking prosthetics.
They look
and
incredible.
They do look
Because you need
incredible.
it for the aliens, isn't it? To be believable.
And as much as I do want to disagree with that, that's not the main one that I'm gonna bring up. I want to talk about best animated feature film, which went to Zootopia, but the other nominees were Kubo and the Two Strings, My Life as a Zucchini, The Red Turtle, and the one that I'd probably give it to, Moana.
Make way.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
You're
You're welcome. It's easy.
Did you do that on purpose?
Of course I did.
Moana just stood up a little bit better for me on, like, I think about it quite more regularly than I do Zootopia. I think the plot was a bit generic for Zootopia for me, and even like animation wise, I think it was more impressive in Moana. I remember seeing like the shots of Moana's like hair and thinking, oh my, that's incredible. I've just hit my headphones.
All of the water effects as well.
Yeah, exactly. And just as a film, and the songs that people were still sing, "You're Welcome" and everything else from that, and I think it's just stood up, even though it's been a couple of years. I think it's stood up better. And even a shout, I'd probably even give it to Kubo over Zootopia, to be honest.
I've not seen Zootopia, to be honest with you, but I loved Moana, so...
Steve, you're a big animation person.
I'm disputing. For me, Moana
You're disputing
was,
me?
Yeah,
You're
I am.
disputing the dispute.
I'm disputing the dispute. It's a double dispute. That's what it should equal out.
Double dispute. That sounds like a Liam Neeson film waiting to be released.
Like for me with Moana, I think it's really forgettable. The only thing I can take away from that film is the songs.
Which I hear you singing all the time.
Because I think that's because it's Lin-Manuel Miranda. Like that's the only takeaway from that is because it's like most of the songs are written by him or in some part. For me, Zootopia, which is like a fantastic cop film, and the world building with that as well, having all these kind of animals living together in one city, it shouldn't work. But
The best thing about Zootopia is Flash the Sloth.
Flash, 100-yard dash.
Yeah.
It was just great to see these two characters, like a fox and rabbit, interact with each other.
But-
and the comedy there as well is like really on the nose, and it's really adult.
It has
oriented
moments,
as well.
but like I don't know, but like plot wise, I don't know what happens. Like I generally can't think of it.
You
Which
can't recall.
But Moana, I could talk you through the whole of that film, and I've seen it twice.
I think for me, it goes
Talking Moana with
Zootopia,
James coming soon.
and then Kubo.
Tweet at me if you want that.
So first,
So yeah, that's my dispute. So I think 2 disputes. So 2 disputes for me, because I disputed best actor and that, best animated, and Tommy, you disputed 1.
just the one, just my own personal one.
Just the
I
one.
thought the top 4 that you got bang on. It was
Uh,
a tough year, I thought.
it's a really close year. And
Stacked.
and you look at how much La La Land, which was obviously the heavy favorite going into all awards that it was nominated for.
Most
and
nominated of all time.
yeah. And Steve, you were 2 as well.
I think.
What was your personal dispute? Did you agree with me on the makeup
Yeah.
one? Was that yours as well?
Yeah, it's the Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
Oh, but then you double disputed James's dispute.
So that's 3.
It's
That's
not quite.
That's a record.
2.5. We'll give you 2.5.
It's 2.5.
That's a record.
Yeah. Well, I didn't see the Red Turtle, which was like their foreign animated film for that year, because normally it's like a
They always
Studio Ghibli
nominate.
film. I
Yeah.
haven't seen the Red Turtle. It may have been that if I see that, but I don't know.
No, fair enough. So that's it for this episode of In Dispute. We, as a whole, on average, but they got it right.
Yeah, good job. So
yeah.
far, so good.
So far,
I don't
so
know what all
good.
the fuss is about. People saying they get it wrong all the time.
Maybe we'll see next time when we look at the 88th Academy Awards.
Ooh.
So as always, go and like and subscribe and on YouTube and iTunes.
They
and-
knew.
Yeah, that's next time. That's next time.
There's a little
That's a
teaser.
tease. Think of that
I've
out
got
and
chills
tweet
from
it
that.
at Mr. TT Green
Oh, thank
if
you.
you work it out, or tweet at Stevie Poo Poo if you think Van Helsing should have won any Academy Awards.
I need some followers. I've got 2 followers right now.
Is that me and Tommy?
Yeah, it's just you two.
Follow me at Floodgate28 and go and do whatever you want.
We're on YouTube. We're on iTunes. We're on Spotify. We're going to be on Stitcher. We're going to be on Google Podcasts.
MySpace at some point as well in the future.
I doubt it.
Probably not.
Stay tuned.
Like us on Facebook.
Yeah,
And
like us on
Instagram?
Facebook and
We're literally on
Instagram
every single
and
social media.